The greatest hamburger place ever.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not actually, speaking of like just sort of open source and like looking at things openly, I just like going in and out and seeing them make the burger.
Yeah, it's right there.
They chop the onions and they you just see everything getting made in front of you.
Yeah.
It's great. But yeah, it should be like, how many wake-up calls do you need?
And you got Gavin Newsom, who's running around saying we all have California derangement syndrome. He's just like ripping off Trump derangement and calling it California derangement. It's like, no. How many corporations have left California?
It's crazy.
Hundreds.
Yes, hundreds.
Right?
Joe Rogan and Gavin Newsom are locked in a feud that just keeps getting hotter. And now Elon Musk has stepped straight into the middle of it. What began as a tense back and forth has grown into a full-on showdown, with Rogan firing sharp criticism at Newsom's track record and California's debated policies. Musk didn't stay quiet either, piling on with his own blunt thoughts about where the state is heading under Newsom's leadership. The result, a mix of heavy debate, dry humor, and political drama that's just as gripping as it is explosive. There's plenty of tension, a few laughs, and a lot to unpack. So get ready, because this is one story you'll want to hear.
But there's always something. That's what's nuts. There's always some new law that's passed, some new insane thing that California's doing.
Yeah.
And it's like a giant chunk of it's happening in California. The most preposterous things that I get.
Yeah.
How many corporations have left California?
It's crazy.
Hundreds.
Yes, hundreds.
Right? Hundreds.
Yes.
That's not good.
Chick-fil-A. I think In-N-Out left.
Yeah, In-N-Out left. They moved to Tennessee.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, we can't do this anymore.
Right. And
it's the California company for food. It's
Yes.
like the greatest hamburger place ever.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not actually, speaking of like just sort of open source and like looking at things openly, I just like going in and out and seeing them make the burger.
California has watched a steady wave of Fortune 500 companies pack up and head out. And many critics are pointing straight at Gavin Newsom, saying his administration has created what they call a tougher, less welcoming place to do business. The list of companies leaving reads like a roll call of major corporate names. Tesla Inc. made big news in 2021 when it moved its headquarters from Palo Alto to Austin, Texas, pointing to heavy regulations, high living costs, and a system they felt slowed down innovation instead of supporting it. Oracle Corporation had already made a similar move the year before, shifting from Redwood City to Austin in search of lower taxes, lower costs, and more flexibility for its expanding team. Even Chevron Corporation, a company rooted in California for more than 100 years, decided it had had enough, relocating its headquarters to Houston in 2024 after long-standing concerns about rising expenses and increasing regulations. One after another, these exits are raising serious questions. Some argue that California's once celebrated economic model may be losing momentum, pushing away the very businesses that helped turn the Golden State into a worldwide symbol of growth and opportunity.
But yeah, it should be like, how many wake-up calls do you need to say that it needs to be reform in California? You know?
Well, the crazy thing that Newsom does is whenever someone brings up the problems in California, he starts rattling off all the positives. The most Fortune 500 companies, highest education. But yeah, that was all already there
right.
before you were governor.
But how many Fortune 500 companies have left California?
Right. And then you guys spent $24 billion on the homeless, and it got way worse.
Yes. Like the homeless population doubled or something. People don't understand the homeless thing because it sort of preys on people's empathy, and I think we should have empathy, and we should try to help people.
But almost sounds unreal when you pause and really think about it. California has spent an eye-popping $24 billion trying to fight homelessness, yet instead of getting smaller, the crisis has nearly doubled. And at this point, a lot of people aren't even shocked. Many say the problem isn't just how much money was spent, but how it was spent. Critics argue that instead of focusing on safer streets and helping people truly rebuild their lives, some policies have unintentionally made life on the streets feel normal, even long-term. Large tent encampments now line sidewalks and fill city parks, changing the feel of once lively neighborhoods. At the same time, programs meant to show compassion are often accused of keeping people stuck rather than moving them forward. The outcome? Thousands caught in a system that talks about hope but struggles to deliver real progress. It's a painful cycle of huge spending, political debate, and public messaging presented as empathy. leaving parts of California looking less like a model of progress and more like a plan that didn't work the way it was promised.
The homeless industrial complex is really it's dark, man. That network of NGOs should be called like the drug zombie farmers, because the more homeless people and really like when you meet like somebody who's like totally dead inside, shuffling along down the street with a needle dangling out of their leg. Homeless is the wrong word. Like homeless implies that somebody got a little behind on their mortgage payments, and if they just got a job offer, they'd be back on their feet. But someone who's, I mean, you see these videos of people that are just shuffling. They're on fentanyl. They're like taking a dump in the middle of the street. And they got like open sores and stuff. They're not like one job offer away from getting back on their feet.
Elon Musk says what many people are already thinking. Some critics believe certain groups use the language of empathy while benefiting from a system that keeps money flowing but delivers very little real change. The hard truth is that many people living on the streets aren't just down on their luck. A large number are stuck in painful cycles of drug addiction and serious mental health struggles without the structure or support needed to break free. What they need, supporters argue, isn't more speeches or oversized budgets labeled as compassion. They need real action. That means building stronger recovery programs, expanding access to meaningful mental health care, and enforcing focused drug treatment efforts in high-risk areas. Add transitional housing and clear paths back into steady work, and there's at least a chance for long-term recovery instead of repeated promises. Until changes like that take hold, critics say California will keep spending billions on programs that manage the crisis rather than fix it. And in the end, they argue, that's not just a policy failure, it's a human one.
Homeless is it's a propaganda word,
right?
So, and then the these sort of charities, in quotes, are they get money proportionate to the number of homeless people or number of drug zombies.
Right.
So their incentive structure is to maximize the number of drug zombies, not minimize it.
Right.
That's why they don't arrest the drug dealers. Because if they arrest the drug dealers, the drug zombies leave. So they know who the drug dealers are. They don't arrest them on purpose, because otherwise the drug zombies would leave, and they would stop getting money from the state of California and from all the charities.
This feels like a real wake-up call. It helps explain why California keeps spending billions on homelessness while the crisis still grows. Many critics argue that a big chunk of that money never makes it to the people who truly need it. Instead, they say it gets lost in a maze of nonprofits, consultants, and layers of bureaucracy that focus more on staying busy than on delivering clear results. Good intentions end up buried under paperwork, delays, and poor management. Some compare it to when the Trump administration pulled back from certain United States Agency for International Development funded groups after raising concerns that large portions of their budgets were going toward politics and overhead instead of direct relief. Critics believe a similar pattern is happening here. When money meant to help people rebuild their lives ends up covering salaries and administrative costs, the system can start protecting itself instead of the public. The argument from opponents is simple. California doesn't just have a funding issue, it has an accountability issue, wrapped in the language of compassion but weakened by limited oversight.
Is that real? So they're in coordination with law enforcement on this?
Yeah. This is a diabolical scam. And San Francisco's got this tax, this gross receipts tax, which it's not even on revenue; it's on all transactions, which is why Stripe and Square and a whole bunch of financial companies had to move out of San Francisco, because it wasn't a tax on revenue; it's a tax on transactions. So if you did trillions of dollars transactions, it's not revenue. You're taxed on any money going through the system in San Francisco, and that money goes to the homeless industrial complex. That tax that was passed. So there's billions of dollars that go, as you pointed out, billions of dollars every year that go to these non-governmental organizations that are funded by the state.
San Francisco was once seen as the shining hub of tech and innovation. Now, many say that image is starting to fade as businesses leave one after another. Facing high taxes, strict regulations, and rising costs, both large and small companies say it's becoming harder to survive, let alone grow, in the city they once proudly called home. What used to stand as a symbol of bold ideas and opportunity is now, in the eyes of critics, a warning about how heavy rules and soaring expenses can push even strong industries away. At the center of the debate is Gavin Newsom. Opponents argue that under his leadership, parts of California's economy have struggled. They point to businesses relocating to other states, homelessness continuing to rise, and concerns about crime affecting daily life. Despite ongoing complaints from business owners, local leaders, and frustrated residents, Newsom has defended his approach and continued supporting the same policies. The result is growing frustration among critics, with louder calls for change and greater accountability echoing across the Golden State.
It's a self-licking ice cream cone situation. So they get this money. The money is proportionate to the number of homeless people or number of drug zombies, essentially. So they try to keep that. They try to actually increase, because that like in some cases, like it's somebody did an analysis. When you add up all the money that's flowing, they're getting close to $1 million per homeless per drug zombie. It's like $900,000, something like some crazy amount of money is going to these organizations. They need to keep them in the area so they get the revenue. So they don't arrest the drug dealers, because otherwise the drug zombies would leave. So they're kept in this sort of perpetual zone of being addicted, but just barely alive.
Many critics say the homelessness crisis in California will only improve when leaders focus on solving it, not just talking about it. Real change takes courage and clear action, not carefully framed messaging. For years, some activists have argued that people living on the streets should simply be left alone. Opponents of that view say the streets should never be treated as a normal or permanent place for anyone to live. In their eyes, that approach doesn't lift people up. It risks accepting ongoing hardship as something unavoidable. Supporters of reform argue the state needs strong, results-driven steps. That includes expanding structured rehab programs and serious mental health treatment, addressing unsafe encampments, building truly affordable transitional housing, and enforcing laws that protect both vulnerable individuals and the wider community. They say this isn't about being harsh. It's about restoring dignity, safety, and accountability. If leaders continue to debate without major changes, critics warn the problem won't remain contained. They believe ineffective policies could influence nearby states as well, turning what began as a state crisis into a broader regional challenge.
So how is this coordinated with like DAs
Yeah.
that don't prosecute people?
Yeah.
So when they hire or they push, so they fund the campaigns of the most progressive, most out there left-wing
Yeah.
DAs. They get them into office.
We've got that issue in Austin too, by the way.
Yes.
So some friends of mine were telling me that like the library's unsafe. Like they took their kids to the library, and there were like dangerous people in the library in Austin. And I was like, dangerous people in the library? Like that's a strange. It basically get like drug zombies in the library.
Oh Jesus!
If Elon Musk is right, California's homelessness crisis isn't just unresolved. It could be maintained by the very system meant to fix it. Musk claims that the issue has quietly turned into an industry of insiders, consultants, nonprofit executives, and political operatives who profit from the constant flow of government funds. Rather than tackling the real root causes, addiction, mental health struggles, and unemployment, the state keeps pouring billions into programs that look impressive on paper but deliver minimal results. The outcome is a false sense of progress that keeps the crisis alive. According to Musk, this isn't accidental. He says California's progressive establishment has shaped the problem into a political narrative, using it to highlight causes like inequality and systemic oppression, while billions of taxpayer dollars vanish into administrative overhead. If that's true, critics argue, California isn't solving homelessness, it's perpetuating it. Incentives are broken, and no one seems willing to fix them. The crisis has also escalated beyond crowded sidewalks and tent encampments. In many cities, these areas have become centers of open drug use, unpredictable behavior, and rising violence. Residents report harassment or attacks in neighborhoods that were once considered safe. Small businesses are struggling with vandalism, theft, and property damage, reaching alarming levels. Police departments are stretched thin, trying to enforce the law while managing what has become a humanitarian emergency. Many Californians now fear that the surge in crime is closely linked to the unchecked growth of homelessness. Critics see it as a crisis born from poor policies, worsened by misplaced priorities, and sustained by a political culture more focused on optics than real solutions.
Wasn't there a crazy story about the judge who was involved, who had previously dealt with this person, was also invested in a rehabilitation center and was sending these
conflict of interest.
Yes. So sending people that they were charging to a rehabilitation center instead of putting them in jail, profiting from this rehabilitation center, letting them back out on the street.
Yes, and
violent, insane people.
And there, in that case, I believe that judge has no law degree or a significant legal experience that would allow them to be a judge.
Joe Rogan called it straight. Too many people are thriving in a system that rewards failure, and that's exactly why California's homelessness crisis never seems to end. There's a whole ecosystem built around it. Politicians pushing talking points, consultants cashing in on government contracts, and nonprofits collecting endless funding while the problem keeps growing. It's the only explanation for how billions of dollars can be spent year after year with so little to show for it. Then came the moment that exposed everything. When Xi Jinping visited San Francisco, Gavin Newsom managed to clear the streets of homeless encampments overnight. Years of excuses disappeared in a single day, simply because the state suddenly had a political will to act. That one move proved beyond doubt that the problem isn't unsolvable. It's just uncomfortable to fix. The real tragedy, critics say, is that California's leaders seem more focused on appearances than solutions. As Rogan bluntly put it, the crisis continues not because it's too complex, but because too many people profit from the chaos. California doesn't lack the resources to clean up its streets. It lacks the motivation to give up the power and profit that come from keeping them messy.
I have friends that are comedians that called you a and I got pissed off.
Are you serious?
Oh, yeah.
Like not as...
No, because you did that thing at the My Heart Goes Out to You.
Everyone
everyone, all of them.
Literally.
Tim Walz, Kamala Harris, every one of them did it. They all did it.
How do you point at the crowd? How do you wave at the crowd?
Do you know CNN was using a photo of me whenever I got in trouble during COVID?
Oh, man.
From the UFC weigh-ins. And if the UFC weigh-ins, I go, hey, everybody, welcome to the weigh-ins. And so they were getting me from the side. And that was the photo that they used. Conspiracy theorist podcaster Joe Rogan. That's what they used.
Yeah, but that's what the left is today. It's a super judgy and calling everyone.
Absolutely. When the far left decides they don't like someone, they go full force to destroy them. Just look at Joe Rogan or Elon Musk. The playbook never changes. They vilify, twist, and smear until the public sees you as the bad guy. Words are twisted, headlines are manipulated, and outrage is weaponized to push their story. Rogan got labeled a misinformation machine just for hosting honest conversations. Musk was called a threat to democracy for buying Twitter and standing up for free speech. And we've seen this pattern before with Donald Trump and his supporters. Non-stop attacks, endless investigations, and a media echo chamber determined to silence anyone who disagrees. It's never about truth or fairness, it's about control. Anyone who challenges their ideas instantly becomes a target. To the far left, tolerance only exists if you agree with them. Take California as another example. The crisis there isn't just about homelessness, it's about bigger issues, broken incentives, hypocrisy, and power structures that reward chaos. Billions of taxpayer dollars are wasted while streets get more dangerous, and leadership keeps looking the other way. The proof is clear. California could fix this, but it would threaten those who profit from keeping it broken. That's it for today's video. If this opened your eyes, hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.